Jai Hind Future Warriors. This is Srikant Godke, your polity mentor, and today I'll be bringing you the lectures on the citizenship, that is the part 2 of our Indian Constitution. Okay, before beginning today's session, let's have a quick recap of what did we discuss in our previous class. In our previous class, we discussed about part 1 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with Article 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we have discussed 4 articles in our previous session. If you are not thorough with those 4 articles, you won't be understanding today's session. So I would request everyone to clear your basics first and then jump into the subject. Okay, today we'll be starting with citizenship, that is part 2 of our Indian Constitution. Right, now what is this citizenship all about? What do you understand by citizenship? Okay, see, during the time of independence, India, our country, it was facing a lot of challenges. Okay, there were challenges, there was a lot of bloodshed happening. Right, getting my point? So during partition of India, which was divided into India and Pakistan, there was a large scale migration of people from India to Pakistan, right, and Pakistan to India. Pakistan back then, it had two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. Of course, East Pakistan is today's Bangladesh. Okay, right. Now there were people from East Pakistan coming to the parts of Assam and West Bengal. Okay, and in West Pakistan, people came into bordering areas of Rajasthan, Punjab, Kashmir. Okay, now when all of this was happening, there was a question raised that who are the citizens of India? Okay, who should be the citizens of India? Right, now to answer these questions, the constitutional makers, they felt that there should be a chapter on citizenship. Okay, there should be a chapter of citizenship in our Indian Constitution, because only this chapter will answer all the questions which are related to citizenship. Right, now this citizenship, it falls under part 2 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with articles 5 to 11. Okay, before starting articles, I'll give you a brief introduction, like what is population of India and how it is divided. All right, so please listen carefully. Population living in India, it can be divided into two parts. It can be divided into two types. One are citizens and the other one are aliens. Who are aliens? Aliens are nothing but foreigners. Right, now these aliens, they can be divided into two types. One are friendly aliens and the second type are enemy aliens. Right, who are citizens of India? People of our country. Right, people who enjoy all the civil and political rights, they are citizens of India. Right, now these aliens are nothing but foreigners. Right, they do not enjoy all the civil and political rights. No equal rights are given to them. No right to vote is given to them. They don't even have ration card. Yes or no? So they are aliens. Now these aliens, they are categorized into two types. One is friendly aliens and the second one is enemy aliens. Who are friendly aliens? Friendly aliens are those people who belong to a country which have cordial relationships with India. Okay, for example, take Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a friendly, what do you say, country to India. Right, now suppose Kumar Sangakkara, the captain of Sri Lankan cricket team, international cricket team, who led his team to the finals, 2011 finals of World Cup. Right, Kumar Sangakkara, if he is coming to India for cricket commentary, what do you think will happen? People will welcome him, obviously, because he belongs to a country which has cordial relationships with India. Right, now who are friendly aliens? Who are friendly aliens? Who are enemy aliens? Enemy aliens are those people who belong to that country which is at war with India. Okay, now these enemy aliens, they enjoy less rights than friendly aliens. Getting my point? For example, take Shoaib Akhtar. Okay, a famous Pakistani cricketer. If he is coming to India for commentary, do you think people will welcome him wholeheartedly? No. This was just an example to make you understand who are friendly aliens and who are enemy aliens. Okay, now see, I'll give you one more example. Take Article 20 in our Indian Constitution. What is Article 20? Article 20, it gives some immunities against arrest and detention. Okay. Now, see what happens. What happens if there are friendly aliens and enemy aliens residing in our country? Friendly aliens, they will enjoy certain rights. What are those rights? They enjoy protection against arrest and detention. Okay. But this protest against arrest and detention, it is not same for the enemy aliens. Okay. And also Indians, they cannot be arrested on suspicion, right? They cannot be arrested for suspicion. There need to be some concrete evidence. Yes or no? Also, they cannot be arrested simply without any reason, right? The police, they need to give us a reason, a valid reason for arrest. Okay. And after that, we are taken to the police station, right? The police, it needs to note down the time of arrest in their logbook. Okay. The time, the date. Yes or no? And we have to be produced in front of magistrate in the next 24 hours, right? These are some rights, these are some protections which friendly aliens and citizens of India will enjoy. Getting my point? But this isn't the same for the enemy aliens. Getting my point? Fundamental rights, they are enjoyed by the citizens only. Okay. Few fundamental rights, they are enjoyed by friendly aliens also, right? And few rights, they are enjoyed by everyone irrespective of their citizenship. Okay. Now see, the Indian Constitution, it deals with this citizenship from Article 5 to 11. Okay. Getting my point? Under Part 2 of our Indian Constitution, citizenship comes under Article 5 to Article 11. However, it contains neither any permanent nor elaborate provisions. What am I trying to say? It only identifies who became citizens of India on 26th Jan 1950. What is 26th Jan 1950 known as? What happened on 26th Jan 1950? On 26th Jan 1950, Constitution was enforced throughout the country. Okay, so this Part 2 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with citizenship, it only identifies who became citizens of India on January 26th, 1950. Getting my point? This is simple. Okay, now see, in India, we have single citizenship. Okay, which means we only have citizenship of India. We do not have dual citizenship. Like take example of United States, they have dual citizenship. Okay, dual citizenship, it simply means that citizenship of state as well as center. Okay, getting my point? Yes or no? Right. Now, the state citizenship, it used to be there when Kashmir was a state. Before it was merged into Union Territory of India, even we had, what do you say, dual citizenship, only in Kashmir. Do not get confused. Okay. Now see, I will be explaining Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 in today's session. Okay. Now see, there are three categories which are entitled to citizenship. Okay. Citizenship are focused on these three categories only. What are they? What are those categories? See here, persons domiciled in India. Right. The second one is refugees migrated from Pakistan. Right. And the third one is Indians living in another country. Okay. These are the three categories which are entitled to citizenship. Okay. Now see, how can a person become citizen of India? How can a person become citizen of India? Now see, there are 5 ways by which any person can acquire citizenship of India. What are those 5 ways? The first one is by birth process. The second one is by registration. The third one is acquisition of territory. Fourth one is naturalization. And the fifth one is, the fifth process is descent. Okay, fifth one is descent. Getting my point? There are 5 ways to acquire citizenship of India. One is by birth. Okay, one is by birth. Second one is by registration. Third one is by acquisition of territories. Fourth one is by naturalization. And the fifth one is by descent. Okay, B, R, A and D. A short trick to remember What are the ways to acquire citizenship? B, R, A, and D. B stands for by birth process, R stands for by registration process, A stands for by acquisition of territory, N stands for naturalization, and D stands for descent. Okay, these are the 5 ways by which citizenship of India can be acquired. Now, I'll tell you what is by birth process, what is by registration, what is acquisition process, what is naturalization, and what is descent. In today's lecture, I'll be covering all of this. Right, now see, we'll start with the first one. What is the first process? B, which stands birth. Okay, what is the by birth process to acquire citizenship of India? Right, now see, what is this by birth process? What are certain provisions under by birth process? See, person who is born in India on or after 26th Jan 1950, but before 1st July 1987 is a citizen of India irrespective of his parents' nationality. Okay, see here, I have written it here, the dates, the important dates. Okay, person born in India on or after 26 Jan 1950, but before 1st July 1987 is a citizen of India irrespective of his parents' nationality, which means that his parents can be either Pakistanis who have, migrated to India after the partition, okay, or his parents can be Bangladeshis. Right, P/B. Okay, irrespective of their nationality, their parents' nationality, the child will be given citizenship. Any person will be given citizenship of India. Okay, but see, this was later changed. Okay, after 1987, it was later changed. And what were the provisions added? What were the new provisions added? A person can be citizen of India only if either of his parent is a citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay, I'll give you an example. See, listen here. Okay, this is that person, any person, X, Y, Z. Okay, now this person, his parents. Okay, parents, right? One is father and the another one is mother. Okay, what happened after 1987 is provisions were added that a person can be citizen of India only if either of his parents is a citizen at the time of his birth, which means that his father or his mother should be a citizen of India at the time of his birth. Getting my point? This happened after 1987. These changes were made after 1987. Earlier, irrespective of parents' nationality, any person was given citizenship of India. Alright, but after 1987, provisions were added. Okay, and it was made necessary that either of his parents, that is father or mother, should be citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay, again after 1987, okay, again in 2004, changes took place. Okay, what were the changes made? What were the changes made? A person can be citizen of India. A person can be citizen of India if both of his parents are citizen of India at the time of his birth, which means father and mother should be citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay, this happened in the year 2004. Please mind my writing. Okay, this happened in the year 2004. I don't remember the exact date, but this happened in 2004. Changes took place in the year 2004, and it was made compulsory that a person can be citizen of India if both his parents, father, parent 1 and parent 2, mother, both are citizens of India. Okay, this is by birth process. Okay, I hope it is clear. The next one is by registration. Okay, what is the registration process? See, registration, सब लोगों को पता ही होगा. What do you mean by registration? Alright, the central government, okay, it may on an application registered any person as a citizen of India. Okay, not any person, there are certain provisions for it also. What are they? What are the clauses under registration? A person of Indian origin who is an ordinary resident for the past 7 years before making application for registration. Okay, he should be of Indian origin who is an ordinary resident in India for the past 7 years. Before filling the registration application, this is the first clause. What is the second clause? Person who is married to citizen of India and is ordinary resident in India for the past 7 years, okay, before making application for registration, can be acquired citizenship. Okay, the first provision is for private individuals. Okay, is for single person, for private individuals. The second provision is for married, it is for couples, right? It is for couples. And the next provision is about children. What is their process to acquire citizenship by registration? Minor children of persons who are citizen of India, if either of his parents, okay, that is what? If either of his parents means what? See, here is a child, okay, parent 1, parent 2. Okay, by registration, if any child wants to acquire citizenship of India, then his parents, either of his parents should be citizen at the time of his birth. Okay, either father P1 or P2, mama. Okay, they should be citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay, this is by registration process. There are 3 clauses under registration. One is for private individuals, right? Second is for married couples, and the third one is for minor children. This is by registration process. Registration process is simple. The central government, it will release an application, okay, and people, they will fill that application form. I told you what is the criteria, okay, for to acquire citizenship of India by registration process. Okay, be done, are done, by birth done, by registration done. What is the third one? By acquisition of territories. Okay, now this acquisition of territories, it is also known as incorporation of territories. Okay, to make it simple, to form a shortcut BRAND, I have inserted it as A, acquisition of territories, whereas you might have seen it also as incorporation of territory. Incorporation or acquisition, they both are same. Do not get confused. Okay. Now, what is this acquisition of territories? What is the process to acquire citizenship of India by acquisition of territory? See, if any foreign territory becomes a part of India, the government of India, it will specify the people who will be, what do you say, citizen of India. Suppose we are taking any foreign territory. Okay, take the example of Pondicherry. Pondicherry became an integral part of India in the year 1962. Right. Now, the government of India, it issued citizenship for the people of Pondicherry in the year 1962 under the Citizenship Act of 1955. Okay. Now, this Citizenship Act of 1955 is considered as the base to understand this chapter of citizenship. Okay, let's not get into what is Citizenship Act of 1955. We'll only be covering what are the ways to acquire citizenship. Okay, it is simple. If you are taking any foreign territory and you are including it under Union of India, then the government of India needs to specify who will be the citizens of India. Alright, now the whole territory which is acquired by the government of India, right, though that particular territory, that whole territory will be, what do you say, the people living in that territory will be given citizenship of India by the government of India, because here you are acquiring the whole territory. Okay, now you might get a doubt that what if few people don't want to be a part of India? It is their choice. Okay, when government of India is acquiring any territory, it will give them options. Government of India will give options to the people that it is your choice whether to remain in India or to go back to any other country. Okay, if you are if it is your call to be with India, then you should acquire citizenship of India through acquisition of territory. B done, R done, A done. Okay, what is acquisition of territory? If you are acquiring any foreign territory and you are merging it into Union of India, then the government of India, it will specify who will be citizens of India from those territory. Right? It is simple. Whoever has decided to remain in India, they will be given citizenship. Okay. By birth process done, by registration done, by acquisition of territories done. Okay. Now the fourth and the most important one is the acquisition of territory, acquisition of citizenship by naturalization. Okay. What is this naturalization? What do you understand by naturalization? See here, naturalizations, it simply means that there are different ways in naturalization. Okay. There are different ways in naturalization by which any person can become citizen of India. Let's see what is the process. Okay. Suppose there is a person applying to the citizenship of India through naturalization. He shouldn't be a citizenship of any other country, which means that if he is an NRI, okay, and if he is coming to India and if he wants to be a citizen of India, then he should give away the citizenship of that particular country in which he was residing. Okay, because in India we do not entertain dual citizenship. Getting my point? Okay, in India it is prevented to have dual citizenship. Okay, getting my point? See, and one more thing which you need to understand in naturalization process is, the person who is applying to citizenship of India through naturalization, he shouldn't be a citizenship of any other country, where citizens of India, they are prevented to become citizens of that particular country through naturalization. Okay, don't worry, I'll give you an example. See here. Okay, suppose there is a person P. There is a person P who belongs to a country X. Okay, there is a person P, see, person P who belongs to a country X. Okay, now this person P, he wants to become citizen of India. Okay, now what will the government of India do? The government of India will simply say that you were a part of this country X till now. Okay, right, you were a part of this country X till now. Now give away the citizenship of this country and we will give you citizenship of India through naturalization. Okay. Now suppose this person, okay, this person P, he resides in this country X. Okay, he was a part of this country X. Now the government of India, it will also check that if this country X, it does not allow Indian citizens, means if we Indians, we are going and we are, our idea is to reside in this country X. Government of India will check that if this country X, it does not allow people of India to become citizens of this country through naturalization, then government of India will not allow this person P to become citizen of India. Okay, because this country X, it is not allowing Indians to be their citizens through naturalization. If any country does not allow Indians to become citizens of their country through naturalization, then India will also not allow any foreign person, okay, who belongs to a country in which Indian people are not granted citizenship through naturalization. Getting my point? देखो यार, it is simple. I'll explain in Hindi. एक बंदा है, okay, he belongs to a country X. Okay, ये बंदा जिस कंट्री को बिलोंग करता है, अगर ये कंट्री इंडियंस को सिटीजनशिप नहीं देती थ्रू नेचुरलाइजेशन, देन इंडिया भी इस बंदे को सिटीजनशिप नहीं देगी. ओके, क्योंकि इट इज, व्हाट डू यू से, वॉट एवर इट इज, इट गोज बोथ वेज. ओके, तुम हमारा काम करो, हम तुम्हारा काम करेंगे. सिंपल. अगर ये कंट्री एक्स जो है, ये अगर अलाउ नहीं करती इंडियंस को सिटीजनशिप बनने का थ्रू नेचुरलाइजेशन, देन हम लोग भी जो भी आएगा इस कंट्री से, ओके, जो भी आएगा इस कंट्री से, उसको नेचुरलाइजेशन के थ्रू सिटीजनशिप नहीं देंगे. ओके, ओके, एंड the person who belongs to this country X, he has to give away his dual citizenship. Getting my point? Fine. It is a little bit difficult to understand, but if you focus properly, then it is very easy. Alright. Now see, besides this, any person, he can acquire Indian citizenship through naturalization. That means he has either resided in India earlier, or he has been in service to government of India. Okay, this service, it is matlab that particular limit to that service is about 12 months. Okay, he has to stay in India for previous 14 years if he wants to acquire citizenship of India through naturalization. Okay, and before applying for the citizenship, he should not migrate out of country for the last 1 year. Okay, see, out of 14 years, out of 14 years, sorry, out of 14 years, the last 1 year he should not migrate anywhere. Okay, he should remain in India. Okay, the other 13 years he can migrate. He can migrate for business purpose, on tours, on trips, on holidays, or he can migrate. But for the last 1 year, he should not migrate anywhere if he wants to acquire citizenship of India through naturalization. Okay, getting my point. And also, he should be a good citizen, he should have a good character, and also he should have enough knowledge of any one language that is present in 8th schedule of our Indian constitution. Okay, 8th schedule of our Indian constitution deals with the official languages in India which are recognized by government of India. Okay, and there are 22 languages by now which are recognized by government of India under 8th schedule of our Indian constitution. Okay, if any person who wants to acquire citizenship of India through naturalization, then he should be in India for the previous 14 years. Okay, and before applying for past 1 year, he should not migrate out of the country. Okay, and also he should have enough knowledge of any one language. Okay, getting my point? Yes, clear. This is the naturalization process. Be done, by birth done, by registration done, by acquisition of territory done, by naturalization done. Now the last process to acquire citizenship of India is through descent. Okay, is through descent. We will see what is this descent process. Now see, this descent process is somewhere related to by birth process. Okay, see, what is the procedure by to acquire citizenship of India through descent? It is simple. See, person born outside India on or after 26th Jan 1950, but before 10th December 1992. I have written the dates here. Don't get confused. Okay, right. Now, person born outside India on or after 26 Jan 1950, but before 10th December 1992, if his father was a citizen at the time of his birth, then only he or she can acquire Indian citizenship. Okay, see, there is this child. Okay, he has two parents, father and mother. He has parents, father and mother. Okay, now in this descent process, what happens is father and mother, parent 1 and parent 2. Okay, in this descent process, on or after 26 Jan 1950, but before 10th December 1992, is a citizen of India if his father was a citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay, it is simple. Okay, if any person's father is a citizen of India at the time of his birth, then he will be given citizenship of India through descent. Okay, now changes took place after 1992. Amendment happened after 1992. What was the amendment about? Person born outside India on or after 10th December 1992 is considered to be citizen if either of his parents are citizen of India at the time of his birth. See, after 1992 what happened? See, child, right, parents, P1, P2. Initially what was the procedure? What was the procedure? Compulsory father should be citizen of India at the time of his birth. Right. But after 1992 what happened? After 1992 what happened? Either of his parents can be citizen of India. Either mummy or papa can be citizen of India at the time of his birth. Okay. Then this child will be given, this person will be given citizenship of India through descent process. Okay. These are the 5 ways to acquire citizenship of India. What are they? One is by birth, second one is by registration, third one is by acquisition, fourth one is by naturalization, and the fifth one is by descent. Okay, BRAND, brand. These are the 5 ways to acquire citizenship of India. Okay, now what is the next topic we have? We have discussed what are the ways to acquire citizenship of India. Now we'll see what are the ways, what are the grounds on which citizenship of India can be terminated. Okay, now it can be terminated in 3 ways. Okay, first one is you can give up your citizenship voluntarily. Okay, second one is it can be terminated if any person acquired citizenship of any other country. Okay, you all know we do not support, we do not entertain dual citizenship. And what is the third one? What is the third way? The central government can deprive a naturalized citizen if it is satisfied that the citizenship was acquired by fraud or by false representation or by concealment of material facts. Okay, we have seen the naturalization process, right? Naturalization process is a very important one and it is very time taking process. So what happens, sometimes people, they try to acquire citizenship of India through fraud. Okay, if they are successful, if at all they are successful, and if at all the central government, it is later successful to identify that particular person who acquired citizenship of India through naturalization, he has acquired it by fraud or by false representation, then the central government or the government of India can terminate his citizenship. Okay, and also if any person is indulged in trade with any enemy countries, okay, that means if a person who is residing in India, who is a citizen of India, if he is trading with Pakistan or if he is trading with China, okay, if he is indulged in any trade with any enemy countries, then his citizenship will be terminated. Okay, besides this, he can also be sentenced to imprisonment for a period of 2 years, okay, or a period of 5 years, okay, and also they can take, what do you say, a fine for it. Okay, this all can be happened by part 2 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with citizenship under articles 5 to article 11. See, now you might get a doubt that I did not take each and every individual article. What is article 5, what is 6, what is 7? No. Okay, see, I told you the ways to acquire citizenship, BRAND. Now coming to, what do you say, article C. What is article 5 about? Citizenship at the commencement of the constitution. We have discussed this, right? What is article 6? Right to citizenship to the people who have migrated from Pakistan to India. We have discussed the provisions of this also. What is article 7? Right to citizenship of certain migrants of Pakistan. We have discussed this also. Right. What is article 8? Right to citizenship to certain people of Indian origin. We have covered this. What is article 9? Right to citizenship to persons voluntarily acquiring citizenship of a foreign state are no longer the citizens of India. We have discussed this under acquisition of territory. What is article 10? Continuance of the rights of citizenship. Okay, and the final one is article 11. Parliament has the power to regulate citizenship laws. Okay, this is very important. Article 11 is very important. Okay, under this article 11, Parliament, it has the power to enact laws regarding citizenship. Okay, it has the power to regulate the right of citizenship in India. Okay, if someone asks you which article is responsible to change any provisions related to citizenship, then the answer is article 11. Okay, article 11 is a sort of base. Okay, it simply grants powers to the Parliament. Okay, to enact any laws regarding citizenship, to add any laws or to delete any previous laws. This all can be happened under article 11 of our Indian Constitution. Okay, this is all about part 2 of our Indian Constitution, which deals with the citizenship, which covers article 5 to article 11. Okay, now there is one more interesting thing which you need to know. Okay, there is something which is what do you say, the Assam Accord. Okay, there are some important aspects related to Assam Accord. What is this Assam Accord? Okay, see, we all know there was a large scale migration from Bangladesh to India in 1971. Right, you can write down in comment box what happened in 1971. Okay, the East Pakistan, that is today's Bangladesh, it faced a lot of pressure from West Pakistan. Okay, this large scale migration of people from Bangladesh to India, right? People moved either to West Bengal or to Assam, right? Because Bangladesh ka border kya hai? Bangladesh bordering states are West Bengal and Assam, right? Assam, it has a large boundary that it shares with Bangladesh. Okay, large population which is coming into Assam, right? They are residing, they are coming, they are, what do you say, they are migrating from Bangladesh and they are residing in parts of Assam and West Bengal. Okay, now many protests were there regarding their citizenship and all, right? Now there is this Assam Accord between all stakeholders regarding the citizenship, right? This states that all persons who have moved to Assam before 1st January 1966 from Bangladesh or have been temporary residents of Assam shall be given the citizenship of India. Okay, because today if you see these people who have migrated to India before 1971, they have been living in India. They have already been living in India. Okay, now if you say that you people are not a part of India, then what will be their position, right? That is, these amendments are made from time to time in Indian constitution to make sure that each and every citizen is protected. Okay, this is the beauty of Indian constitution. It covers every minute detail. Okay, so this is what the Assam Accord. Okay, there was an agreement between all states. Okay, and the agreement, it led to, what do you say, citizenship of those people who have migrated from Bangladesh to Assam or West Bengal when, what is the timeline? Before 1st January 1966. Okay, this is all about the Assam Accord. Okay, this is all about the part 2 of Indian constitution. Okay, I hope part 2 of Indian constitution is clear to everyone. We have covered article 5 to article 11. We have covered what are the ways to acquire citizenship of India. We have also seen on what grounds the Indian citizenship can be terminated. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me in the exam ground group on Telegram, right? I will be always available, right? In our next lecture, we will be dealing with part 3 of Indian constitution that deals with the fundamental rights. Okay, right? Till then, keep working. Jai Hind.